Today I will be making a German flat position. I'm really happy with this design that made last week. That's from Naflo Bricks. And I'm going to sort of make my plan here. I already have some parts kind of mapped out. But I'm going to have a small trench line where some Germans are defending the point. Not knowing that some Americans are going to be flanking from behind, which I'll get to in a second. I have a couple minifigs here. I also did not, in fact, say what I was going to be doing, so one second. I'm going to check my channel again, but it should be saying that I'm going live. I don't know what's going on. Alright, I'm going to just check in 1 second, but we should be doing alright. Yeah, so my plan is I'm going to have that right there. Flat gun's going to be behind it, sort of clearing out the area, trying to make sure that no paratroopers are landing, and behind them there's going to be a forest and some Americans are going to be moving through it. So that's sort of my plan here. I'll sort of get this whole area set up with some filler, and maybe I'll just work on the trench first because that kind of decides where the filler goes. And we are in. Alright, so I'm watching from another device right now. I didn't give a warning that I was going to be doing this stream, but I'd hope that doesn't have too much of an effect here. Alright. Anyways, I'm going to get started on this first trench system right now. So I just need one more to go in there. Alright, nobody yet in chat, so I'm just gonna keep building. Couple more parts and we should be fine. Now that's gonna go in there, so I just gotta make sure that that area is cleared for this. I'm gonna make sure that right now, so sort of gotta put that in there. Hey RTH and David Pacheco, welcome to the stream. You guys are pretty early. Just sort of started, but I did have a couple pieces pre-made. Hope that's not a big problem or whatever. Alright, and we're just gonna throw in a couple more pieces. Throw in one of those. And last but not least, throw in that. Actually, no, that was not the last thing I needed to do here. Throw that in, and then throw this in. Now that's basically this section finished. That's the whole trench line. I'm gonna have this machine gunner positioned in that trench, and I just dropped his hat, but it's going to be like a very sort of heavily defended point where it's going to seem like it's a pretty well set up area. I might have some sandbags set up somewhere, but again, I'm not entirely sure how this thing's going to play out in the first place. I'm going to start with some of these filler bricks in here, sort of, and then I'm going to work on couple more parts, so that can go in there. And again, nothing. I got one like so far, so thank you guys for that. This weekend in general has kind of just been lazy, for me at least. I haven't done much, and it doesn't feel great, to be honest. It's just been kind of miserable outside the 2 days that I've actually tried to do something, and my friends haven't really been available. Okay, so then I'm going to throw down another part somewhere in here. Nothing new in chat. Alright, so my plan with this is I'm going to have a little bit of this trench system, and then I'm going to have it surrounded by green. It's going to be a greenish area. And then we're going to have this behind here, maybe shooting over a sort of wall or something. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how this thing's going to turn out. We have 20 viewers right now, so that's kind of crazy. Pretty substantial stream jump. I also have this tree, which is not entirely great. It looks alright from above, though, so I'm going to put that back there. Looks alright. Might actually see if I can do a thinner trunk on that. I actually kind of want to see if I can make that look a little bit better, because I'm really not too thrilled with it right now. Yeah, that looks slightly better. I think just the big trunk kind of threw it off, so that'll work. I can throw that in at some point. Alright, and I'm going to find some of these dark tan pieces to finish off this edge over here. Alright. And I think I just need 1 or 2 more parts, and that should be good. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, nothing new in chat, but I'm basically done with this whole trench line, and I'm probably going to start moving on to something else in a second. Now, you know, the funny thing is, I could make like a longer, or basically the same size strip, and I didn't have to vandalize the piece, so didn't have to do that to the piece over there, but whatever. Sorry, my screen broke, I just fixed it. Oh, that's not good. Glad you fixed it. Do I got any parts? That's the question I always ask myself. Do I have any parts? I normally just use some of my white parts because I never use them other than in some of my snowy mocks, and I haven't done many of those recently, so I got a substantial amount of them. Okay, so I'm going to actually get that in view so you can see what I'm doing. It's probably not a bad idea. I'm going to grab a couple more green parts, throw them in. And I need an angled green part, so I'm going to try to find that real quick. And I can throw that in. Right. So, just going to try to find some more parts. Okay, and just a couple more, and then I'm going to try to place down white part because that's probably the easiest thing to do. Alright. Again, nothing new in chat, so I'm going to keep building. Yeah, these past couple days have been lazy. I always want to get outside, but I never end up doing it. And I just feel like I'm stuck in, but I can go outside anytime I want. So, I don't know what's holding me back here. That would work. I'm going to do that for now. Maybe throw in that part. Again, some of my green parts aren't official Lego, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure where I even got them from because I don't buy fake Lego. But, I don't know. They're much worse offenders of fake Lego. Not too mad at myself about that one. I've always seen these Scott's plastic minifigs. I don't know if you guys watch him, but he's another Lego creator. And some of them are printed on fake bodies. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I would buy one because they're like, buy a couple maybe, because they are pretty cheap. But, I don't know, maybe that can be a review for another day. Okay. Nothing new in chat. That would work pretty well over there. Just need a couple more parts and we should be good. That can fit there and that can fit there. Alright, so that's pretty good. I want to make sure that this guy can even fit in there, which I do believe he can. So we have the machine gunner. And I'm going to angle his leg over here so that he's actually in his little hole. And then I'm going to try to find some sandbag pieces that I'm pretty sure I just put away. Or put somewhere. I'm not sure where I did though. I'll find them in a couple minutes. No, I was thinking about making like a cornfield sort of in this area. I'm not sure how that would look. Maybe it would turn out good, but I don't know. For now, I'm just going to kind of tile off that section. Maybe try to find something interesting to put there, but can't think of anything right now. Okay, and just a couple more parts. I'm going to make sure that that actually fits on well. I'm building a flak position after D-Day. I'm going to have some paratroopers sort of approaching it, trying to take it out. Okay, I put that in too early. I need to add some plate in there that'll kind of take up the space. Which I can probably find something in here that'll work. Yeah, I do like this clean black border. I feel like it was a little bit too basic for a little while when I was building, but I feel like it's perfectly fine and ends up the mock decent. So I'm not actually too opposed to it now. Again, I'm just looking for parts here, but I can't find any. What happened to all my parts? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to get that and that, throw them in there. Need to find another part. Okay, that's great, that just fell. That might have been important too, but I'm not entirely sure. Wasn't really paying attention. Alright, we're not doing too well on views right now. I might be setting my standards a little bit too high because my last stream was pretty incredible with all the people that joined. But I think it's going pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out where I'm going to put this guy. Maybe here. Just somewhere. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to be covering a lot of this area with grass as well. I could try to put like a little bush here, maybe. Maybe that would look good. Cover up some area. If I can even find good pieces for it. I think I might use these pieces because I feel like they'd contrast pretty well. But again, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I do like how these look. I don't know, I feel like it might just stretch out a little bit too far to be like a little bush. But, I don't know. I don't think it's too bad. I might just add a couple more leaf pieces. My favorite building technique, I do like a good angled building technique. Like when you angle a building on a sort of G-slope. I feel like that looks really cool and adds in some depth. Really makes your builds feel alive. Alright, so we have a little bush in there. I might keep that, I might not. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. Honestly, not too great. I don't know if it looks too good. I could add some like roses or something to make it sort of pop out a little bit more, but I'm gonna see how it looks with some grass in front of it too. Kind of covers up the whole ugly trunk. I mean, I think that would work. I'm just not sure about it. Yeah, it looks fine. Now I just need to figure out how I'm going to do this whole section over here. I might do like a dirt patch, sort of, that this thing's on. So that would entail just a little bit of building snot pieces. And just a couple more parts in here and we should be good. Nothing new in chat. Alright, and just gonna throw down a couple more parts. So I could do a dark tan sort of base, which could look pretty cool. I'm just not sure how it would sit on the base. It would have to be a pretty specific arrangement of pieces. Thanks, RTH. Appreciate it. I'm just, again, trying to sort of figure this whole thing out on the fly. I'm not sure entirely how I'm going to place this stuff, or even if I want to have it like this. But I'm doing my best here. I might just do that, and then I'm going to arrange a spot for So I have a whole bunch of these plates right here, which could sort of make a decent area in here. I feel like that could look cool. But I just need to sort of plan it out. I'm gonna try to do that for now. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good right now. I think you might be talking about this. I made it from Dave Hill Bricks, or maybe you're talking about this guy, and I made it myself. I honestly don't know which one you're talking about. Okay, so if I place it like that, then it... Oh. Shoot. That kind of just fell apart, so that's not great. It is a flimsy kit, but I'm going to have to extend this area a little bit more if I want to sort of have a dedicated space for it. So it's going to just take me a second, get down a couple more pieces, and set it back. Okay. So if I set it back like this, and then place it down with that on top of there, I feel like that looks pretty good too. And I can sort of work with that probably. So I'll just have to remember how I place that. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of annoying and flimsy. But it is a cool kit. And I do think I'm going to stick with this brown maybe. Again, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. But that's basically how I go into all of these, so... Nothing new to me. So we got that, then another couple of parts. And I can't really find any parts in here. We're at 4 viewers, 2 likes, so thank you to whoever just joined and liked. I can't find the part that I'm looking for right now, so I'm gonna keep it up. I might put that in there. That sort of fits. But again, this area is sort of going to be covered up anyways. That even stretches out a little bit farther. That's kind of annoying. I'm not sure how much I even like that, honestly. It's not what I was kind of envisioning. I'm going to take that off and maybe take off these plates. We're about halfway through, and I'm honestly kind of unsure if I'll get this done in time. But I'll probably try to get the video out tomorrow, if this is even product I can call finished. Because I only want to make the best to post. And if this isn't great by the end, then I can always just start with a new one. What are you building in for the day? I'm building a World War II artillery position for the Germans. It's a flat gun, so anti-air. Competition as a 100 sub special or Q&A? 100 sub. I feel like a Q&A would be cool. I feel like that was a cool opportunity for everybody to reach out and sort of ask me what they thought when I did one of those. It was pretty cool. I don't know. Again, it's up to your personal preference, whatever you think is going to be better. But for the growth of my channel, that was pretty cool. Because it showed that I sort of cared about what people thought, what people were asking. And I showed some wacky comments that people were giving me. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I'm not going to do this light brown because I don't think it really matches with the rest of the mock. It's good to have contrast in the mock, but when it doesn't fit, it's just not great. It's not what you want to do. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm probably just going to throw in some dark tan. Try to remember about where that piece was. So let's say that goes over there. Okay. I'm going to have this sort of oddly splayed out because I don't really want it to take up the most space, where I want to take it up. I want it to take up the least space that I can. I sort of like how that looks, so I'm going to try to fill it in like that. I'm going to try to get some of these areas in place. Just like I can throw that one down there. And I'll try to find a place to throw this one. Maybe right there. Or I could try over there. I'm not entirely sure. I think I might go for this spot. I think that would be good. So this is how it's looking. I'm going to actually pick this up. But now I just know that I need to place them like that. So now that all those are in place, I can sort of get all these in. We are at 7 likes? That's... whoa. I'm not sure what just happened, but we just went up like 5 likes. That's kind of crazy. I don't think my stream's glitching. That's crazy. Thank you guys. It's very helpful. I appreciate it. Man, I was not paying attention. That was kind of crazy. Alright, so it's just sort of going like this. A couple more parts. And finally, I'm going to throw in a couple more. Again, just trying to fill this in, make it look all nice. 8 likes? I'm not sure if that's what you're trying to say. But that would be cool too. Yeah, I'm surprised I just got all those within like a minute. It's kind of crazy. So that goes there, and that should... Would that be spreading it too thin? That works alright. I'm gonna call that good. And I'm just gonna sort of finish tiling this whole area off, making it look all nice. Okay, so that can go in there. You can try to find another place to put these, but I do kind of like where it's at right now. Okay, and I think that'll probably be fine. Let's see if this all fits back on well. I did kind of mess it all up. Oh, what is going on? This is not fitting well, or how I expected it to. Oh, I guess that's the problem. Yeah, this is very flimsy. And I did try to sort of get this in position, make sure it's not doing anything weird, but I must have placed a piece wrong. And I believe it's this right in the middle of all the stuff that I just added, so it's great. Where's JWB? I don't know. He's probably playing Steal a Brain Rot or something. His favorite activity. Okay. And last we got this. So if I do this correctly, it should fit in nice. Which of course maybe I'm not going to. But this is how it's supposed to look, sort of. I think. Okay, so that is the position in place. I'm going to try to figure out how to add in some of these wedge pieces to add some depth and layering. Yeah, I don't know where JWB is. It's kind of weird when he does come on the streams. Like, no, I'm not saying... He is a weird guy, but... He doesn't come on every stream, which I'd kind of expect, but... Maybe he'll get on at some point. Just found a piece. You're at 7 likes right now. None have actually gone away, so it's all good. Alright, and just a couple more parts. Oh man, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so now I'm going to place that in. We are sitting at a pretty consistent number of viewers and likes, so thank you guys for that. It was like a huge pop, so kind of crazy. Not sure what I think of it, but just not really expecting it. I'm going to try to fit some parts in, get it looking all nice. Yeah, I've been a little bit quiet, but I'm just sort of locking in, I guess. Sorry to anybody who's watching, but I'm just kind of zoned out. I'm just trying to find some green wedge pieces that I can throw in here. If I can even find some. That could fit. I'm going to hold off on that for right now. And that can go in there. I'll find another part to throw in. And that can fit in there. I'm going to replace that with one of these parts. Yeah, this is actually turning out pretty well, I think. If I can just get in some grass and stuff like that, maybe some foliage, I think it'll look really nice. Maybe not my cleanest mock in a while, but it'll look alright. If I don't like anything by the end of the stream, I can just fix it off clean. Yeah, again, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. I'm not sure if that's just a glitch or if at least RTH isn't saying anything. I'm not sure. So I'm going to try to throw on another part or two and try to figure out what it is. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, so just have to go with one of those. I was going to go with a plate there because I feel like that would look decent. Maybe it wouldn't work out, though. You can have another field crew kind of smoking, taking a break from the fight. And I'm going to throw down a couple more parts in here, make it look all nice, before I move on to the back and kind of wood section. I feel like trees really bring a mock to life. Oh, glad you're still here. I've been like talking to nobody for a little while now. Or at least that's what it's felt like. think that's going to work because I don't really have too many of the dark tan parts still. But it'll work probably. So I'm going to grab a couple more parts and get them on in there. And we should be fine. Alright, I'm going to start getting in some of these green angled tiles in here. And figure out how this whole thing is going to end up looking. And just gonna grab a couple more parts. Ooh, you guys can't even see what I'm working on. I didn't even notice that. So I'm gonna throw that in. Throw a couple more of those parts. And finally, I'm probably gonna finish off this back side, adding some foliage. And we should be doing alright. I'm doing fine on time. Good on likes. Incredibly good on likes, in fact. Alright. So, we're going to throw that in. And finally, one more of these green parts. And then I'm going to place in some of these trees that I have. To kind of make this come to life. I do like it. I feel like it's a little bit more plain, but I don't need to have them be too advanced every time. Of course, they do look nice when they're all detailed, but I don't know. I feel like it looks fine as it is. And yeah, so you have the back line of trees over there. And I might have an American paratrooper moving up through this section, sort of scouting out the enemy. So, I'm not sure if you can see that. It's going to kind of be a hard detail to see, but there's an American soldier sort of moving through the woods. It might be too packed in these woods, honestly. I might move over this and just have him sort of walking through a little clearing. And then I could actually move this up here and sort of spread out the trees, which I feel like also looks pretty good. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Did you design the trees? I only designed this one. The other two are from... Shoot, it's the Tranquil Garden set. It's like a Japanese garden, sort of. They were really nice trees, so I just decided to kind of take them from that. And they've been in a lot of my mocks since. Oh, man. Alright, I'm adding some grass pieces and some foliage. I'm adding some of this sort of lightish green to the trees to kind of unify it, so that it looks very similar to the other one. I feel like that's always a key step, unifying the look on the trees, because if you don't, then it just kind of looks a little bit random to have two of these trees next to each other. They already look pretty similar, so I'm not doing too much of a hard job here. But this is just a simple step, but I think it really looks pretty nice, especially on those trees. Then I'm going to work on the rest of this with some of these grass parts in the fields and all that. I finally got Burn Apart 1 uploaded. Nice. Not entirely sure what a Burn Apart is, but Burma. Alright. Sorry, I was just kind of confused there. Okay, so we're just gonna add in a couple more of these parts. I do sort of like these lightish green. I don't know how to describe the color, but I like how these look in a mock. They kind of add some texture to the ground. I'm not going to use this big piece because I feel like that's sort of a lazy way to do it. So I'm going to add in a couple of these leaf piles around. And then we should be good to finally add in the grass. Yeah, I really do like this. I've seen this technique used by a lot of other creators. I've seen it in the Brick Cruise mocks too. I feel like they all look pretty cool. I'm not sure if he's doing a mock competition this year. I know that he did it last year. I tried out, but I will admit my mocks weren't my best effort, and they're not as good as they are now, I don't believe. So if he does, I'm probably going to try pretty hard on it. And I really do like this one. I'm going to grab a couple more of these parts and throw them down just all around. I'll just have to remember that that goes in there because that just fell off, in fact. Can't use a space bar. I don't know. I think you might be saying space bar. I'm not sure though. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I think that you said before that your computer broke or whatever. Yeah, I do sort of like this overgrown look that kind of surrounds this. I might add in some more details when I'm finished with it, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. So I don't really feel a need to do it right now. I'm going to add in a couple more parts and we should be good to kind of finish this up, sort of. Again, I might do stuff off camera, but that's for me to decide. But I'm pretty happy with this one. Glad I was able to get this much done. I didn't have too high hopes when I started this thing and kind of looked at it, but the progression's been alright, and I think the trees really add some life to it. I might add in some flowers, make it a little bit of a calmer scene. But, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I feel like it faithfully kind of presents the model that I built. And I'm happy with it. So, that's about it for today. I got a DHL printer. Nice. I might stick around for a little while, just seeing what I can add to this to make it a little bit better, because I'm technically not over my hour. So, might as well just go until I should stop. I'm going to add in maybe this radio. No, that's not. that doesn't quite fit. I was going to try to see if I could stick it to a wall or something, but it doesn't look like it. And I'm pretty happy with it right now. I'm not sure what else I could add to make this any better. I did have like a table in here, which would look pretty good over here. Just sort of their plans and like maybe a map. I'm going to include that, and I've already included it in a couple of mocks because I feel like it just kind of gets along a ragtag feeling. Just kind of shows. I have a couple of random parts up here that I can throw in. I'm still mad at that guy who wanted a rap battle. Oh, she's my friend, so yeah. I would be mad too. He's kind of a master at rage baiting. And if you couldn't tell, that's what he was trying to do there. Rage bait. And he was pretty successful. No offense. This is going to be like kind of sort of a rear station. So I'm going to have it with like a couple of parts and stuff like that. And I do like these sections. Put a couple of barrels around it. But otherwise, pretty decent mock. I'm very happy with it. Again, not as good as some of my other ones recently, but that's about as good as it's going to get for this one. I might add some flowers or something, but I can't think of too much right now that I could do to improve it. I'm glad my country has culture. Yeah. My country isn't too great, I guess. But we got some pretty good mock here. Probably going to end it fairly soon, depending on how this goes. I'm going to move around some of these parts because I just moved them in the wrong way. I can go on there. Just give me a second. Then I'm going to throw in all these parts again. Make sure that it all works out and looks nice. Look, if you're trying to make a point here, Damos, I'm not the one you'd want to complain to because I wasn't the one rage baiting you. And I'm going to be finishing this soon, so. Anyways, very nice stream. I have 8 likes, so thank you guys for that. This is my mock, and it's finished. I'm very happy with it. And overall, just really cool mock, really nice minifig positioning in my opinion. Really like it, so thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.